Good evening. I think every fire chief in the country dreads the call that I got this morning. Chief Riska, my chief of operations, called me this morning about a little after 2 o'clock and informed me that one of our engineers, Michael Breland, was working a traffic accident with a prolonged extrication right down the street here, and he collapsed on scene. And despite the best efforts of the men and women that he works with at this fire station and the folks at UF Health, he succumbed. And this is the third line of duty death we've had since June. We went a long time, from 2008 till June without one, but we've just had our third one, and we just got a department that's pretty distraught right now. Michael was an engineer assigned here on Engine 73. He'd been on the job about 7.5 years and had been an engineer for a little over 2 years. I talked to the mayor early this morning. He expresses his condolence to the family. If there's anything, he said, if there's anything he can do for the family, he's there. Obviously, he's very concerned about our brothers and sisters here at JFRD, that making sure they're taken care of. Our peer support team has been working diligently throughout the day to make sure that these men and women are in a good place. He was in the back of that U-Haul that you saw in the pictures working, and he stepped out of the back and collapsed. And at this point, we're still waiting on the medical examiner to give us a cause of death. There's been some speculation that it was a down power line, but till the medical examiner tells us that, we don't know for sure what the cause of death was. Obviously, when he went down, there were firefighters that were standing within just a few feet of him. In fact, one of them reached over and grabbed him and picked him up, and they immediately began to work him. So he received advanced life support care from almost the second he collapsed till the doctors at UF Health called him. So once again, I just want to thank the men and women, the captain here on the rescue, and the men and women that work in this station that put their heart and soul into trying to save Michael's life. And despite, like I said, despite their best efforts, he succumbed to that death. So I got any questions for me?
You said that he collapsed once he stepped out of the U-Haul, out the back. So was there any sort of sign that maybe something hit him? I knew the speculation of the power line, but he stepped out.
Yeah, when I talked to the incident commander today, he said that there was a wire on the ground. Obviously, the U-Haul had hit a light pole, and there was a wire on the ground. But we're unsure right now, like I said, of the cause of death, and we're not going to speculate on that. Just let the investigation figure out what the cause was.
And how many people were in the U-Haul at the time when he was working through it?
I think the incident commander told me this morning that there were two, him and one other, in the back working, and then there was some crews in the front that were working, trying to extricate the patient from the front as well. It was pretty difficult and a lengthy extrication. They'd been working on trying to get the patient out for about 30 minutes.
So Mike worked his way through the back, working to get that patient out of the front?
Yeah, they were trying to find another route to the patient, because working through the front, they were having some difficulties getting the patient out.
And I've been told that U-Haul had just a lot of stuff on the inside. Does that go into a lot of the challenge? That basically 30 minutes is a long time, certainly, but is that part of that?
It is. It's 30 minutes is a long time. Usually, our crews are pretty good about getting people out, when they're pinned in a vehicle pretty quickly. But this was a pretty complicated extrication, the way she was pinned in there, and they were looking, while the ones in the front were working on that extrication, they were looking for another route into the back of the U-Haul to try to speed things up.
Is that patient still alive, the one that they were getting out side of the front of the vehicle?
As far as I know, she is.
How old was Michael, and did he have family here in the area?
He's 36 years old, was 36 years old, and yet his mom is here in the area.
Somebody had mentioned he was engaged to be married. Can you confirm?
I can't confirm it. I have heard that, but I cannot confirm it.
How would you describe him in a few words, remembering his life?
A very good firefighter, very energetic, and loved to serve the public. And that's like the rest of this department. The 1,800 other men and women that we have working here. They have that servant heart. That's the same thing. He had a servant heart that just loves to serve this community and help others.
Can you just talk about a little bit the difficulties of motor vehicle extrications? Just all that goes into it, including the training too, because I know that you guys are trained very all of that, but I feel like I've been told that there's just a lot of different hazards, dangers that can come with doing that. So can you kind of just touch on that and how difficult it can be?
Yeah, there's obviously our folks train all the time on vehicle extrications. They're in the junkyards all the time practicing these extrication techniques, and there's a lot of techniques depending on how the person's entrapped in the vehicle. But in this particular case, it was just a very difficult extrication the way she was pinned in there, and they were working diligently, and sometimes those extrications do get complicated and take a little bit longer than others. If they were to be under the dash very far or whatever, sometimes it's hard to get the dash off of them.